Okay, so today I thought since we were discussing the other day about the topic of non-self or anatma in our Viveka Chudamani class, I just thought that maybe we will do the contemplation exercise on the just the first verse of the Nirvana Shatakam. It takes quite a bit of unpacking to just understand this one verse, and so. Has I shared with some of you this sloka or these 8 verses were written by Adi Shankaracharya, and in this he's actually affirming 3 of every 4 lines. He's affirming what we are not. That the anatma aspect, the non-self aspect. He's affirming what we are not, and this is called in Vedanta as a methodology or the prakriya for neti neti. The not this, not this. This is the methodology prakriya for that. And then he uses one word which he repeats constantly, and Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. That word he keeps repeating again and again. We have to look at it in a very contemplative way, meaning we all can read this sloka, we all can try to understand this sloka, but we have to look at it in a very contemplative way. So this is what we will focus in the session, where we can contemplate on it and make it our own personal understanding. Just like how we read in the Viveka Chudamani about, like first we are told about the moon, and then we get a glimpse of it, like through our spiritual meditation or inner experience. And then we come to the actual realization of it. So this is that process that's outlined. So this sloka is mainly, it says, I'm going to just read it out in Sanskrit. Mano buddhyahankara chittani naham na cha shrotra jivhe na cha grana netre na cha vyoma bhumir na tejo na vayuhu Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. So let us now first understand the meaning. So what he is saying is the first line, I'm not the mind, mana, buddhi, I'm not the intellect. Chitta, I'm not this memory or that the storehouse of all impressions I've gathered. I'm not that. I'm not the ego, ahankara. I'm not that sense of that I am this, I am that, which I have. Next, he comes to the senses. Nor I am shotra jiva, ears or tongue. Nacha grana netre. I'm not the eyes, nor am I the nose. Grana is a nose, netre, eyes. Nacha vyoma bhumir. I'm not the space. I'm not the earth. I'm not the fire. Tejo na vayuho. So these are the 5 elements we talk about. Pancha Mahabhuta, 5 great elements. Of course, you might wonder why is he left out water, but it's implied here, in this. When he talks about this, it's implied also the water element. So then what are we? What am I? Chidananda Rupa, Chit, consciousness, pure consciousness, supreme consciousness. Chidananda Rupa, that essence, that formless nature of consciousness. Chidananda Rupa, Shivoham, Shivoham. I'm that the same essence as divine God. That the essence of God is the same as mine. So this is the meaning of it. Okay, so now we will look at it in a little different way, context-wise. So first, let us look at these things, what he's calling as the elements, the Pancha Mahabhuta, 5 elements. So when we talk about 5 elements, what he's actually implying is that Everything in nature is made of these five elements. So what is my direct experience when I look outwardly? What is my most direct experience? I experience world, I experience objects perceived by my senses. So my ears bring me sounds, my eyes bring me visions of different objects, So there is the sense objects and then there is the senses. So the senses are able to perceive the sense objects. So all that I see in the world, all that I hear, all that I smell, all that I taste, all that I touch, all this are brought to me through what? Through my senses, right? So because of my senses, I'm able to perceive this world. So first thing what he's talking that I'm not is I'm not this world. But now we will say that I was never this world. Why was I ever going to take that I'm this world? So in this world is also implied your body. So when he's talking about the world, he's also implying the body, because what is your body made of? Your body is made of nothing but these five elements. So the essence of our physical body is nothing but these five elements. So by taking this approach, that anything that has to do with five elements, I'm not. So another way to look at it is, when I look at the world, the objects, the earth, anything that's made of earth, water, air, fire elements, I become different from that what I see. This is the seer-seen relationship, right? Drik Drishya Viveka. So I see some things through my eyes, and then that what I see becomes an object, and that what is the seer or gives me the sense of seer is the eyes, is that subject. So now in this sense, if I am looking out at these objects, those are the sense objects. So I must be the senses which perceives these objects, right? So I can start like that, I must be the senses and I'm able to perceive all the sense objects. And then how is it perceived? It is perceived by the mind, The ability for me to perceive these things is not through the senses also. The ability to perceive these things comes from the mind. So we can look at it in our own experience, So this is a pen, right? An object. So we can say this is the world I'm able to perceive. Now I perceive this through my senses. So my eyes perceived this object of the pen. Now the functioning of my eyes, that my senses or the eyes in this case, is known through what? It's known through my mind, So I'm able to know about this object through my eyes, but the functioning of my eyes, if my glasses is not there, or if my eye vision is not there, or if some reason I'm not able to see properly, how do I know? I know through my eyes, or through my mind. My mind knows that my eyes is functioning properly or not, and the information that my eyes is bringing me, is it good enough or not? Okay, so now we come to this aspect of the mind, which is the first thing in it says, Manaha, Mano Buddhi Ahankara Chittani Naham. Now let us try to understand what are these things, four things. Usually in our modern science, when we say of mind, it is just one thing, the inner working instrument that enables us to gather information from senses, process it, coordinate it. All this is generally just called the mind, But in our Vedantic aspect, the mind is much deeper. So what is this mind? The mind here, he says, is one is we can take it as a processing unit. It gathers information through the senses. And then what does it do? It labels them. So I look at this and I say, this is a pen, Or I look or hear something and I say, I like this, I don't like this. That is also the mind. Now, how does the mind process something I like, I don't like? Through the memory, chitta. So let us start with the sense of this world that we perceive. So anything that you are seeing or anything you're hearing or smelling, anything that's coming into your senses in that sense, So the first thing that here we have to try to feel, because Now, what happens is a lot of times we get this understanding that I can intellectually understand this, but I'm not able to feel this truth. So, in order to feel this truth, we should first go to what we are feeling. We do experience this body, right? We do experiences these senses. So let us start from there. The senses that I am actually getting, I'm hearing things from, or whatever I am feeling about this world, this I'm seeing and all that. So now, if you really try to look at what you're seeing or what you're hearing, where is the source of that what you hear? Is that what you're hearing in that objects? Or is that objects basically just a dead object, meaning it is an insentient object? And that sense of hearing, that aliveness of hearing, that chaitanya, that hearing, knowing that is happening, that pure knowing that is happening, it is not in the object. If that knowing of whatever you're knowing, if you're seeing something, if that thing what you're seeing is in that object, then that object must be you. But that knowing is not outward. That knowing is not in that object. That knowing is inside you. So we can now rule out this possibility, at least in our understanding, that what I'm seeing, that what I'm sensing through anything, my sound and all that, that is not me. So then what do we boil down to? We are boiling down to that what I'm sensing now. Okay, I can hear, see and all that. So there I feel is that aliveness. The aliveness is not in all the objects. The objects are all inherently dead. So the aliveness is in my sensing at this point. So now let us take the body, because we are still experiencing the body, right? What is this body experience? See, is there an actual body that you are able to tangibly feel other than sensations? Is there that thing what we think as body, that we feel as body, that comes to my eyes if I look at it as body? How do I know about this body? The only way I can experience this body is through my sensations. So you try to look at it in your direct experience. Is there anything in your body that tells you that I am the body? Is there something that is standing up and telling you that, okay, this is my body, this I am the body? The only way we relate to this is through our sensations. So if there is a pain, I become aware of my body. Otherwise, I'm not even aware of my body. If there is some pleasant sensation, I become aware of the body. So this body actually I'm not aware of all the time, but yet I have this notion that I am this body. So what do I have to change? I have to change this notion. And how do I change this notion? I have to change it at that point where I sense this notion. So where am I sensing this notion? I have a notion that this body is here. But really, all that there is in this body is just a bundle of sensations I'm feeling. And why is it just a bundle of sensations? Because in my sleep, I don't even feel that the body is there. So if in my sleep I am oblivious to my body, then here that I am the body notion that I have is possibly not true. If there is anything I can sense about my body other than the sensations of the body, then that what I'm sensing is through my idea of it. If I'm thinking that, okay, my body is like this, my body is there, and that is coming through my memory. I saw that, like, if you had to close your eyes, how do you know your body is there? You actually say, okay, maybe I can touch myself, or I can know through my maybe some sweat or something. See, all that your sense perception is bringing to you is again commingled with a notion and an idea you have already built of what your body is like. So this is where the first notion is coming through our sensations. So now we come to this idea of where is this aliveness in me? This aliveness in me is actually at this point, I feel it in my sensations and through my perceptions of the world. Okay, so if the perceptions and sensations is really where the knowership that I know exists, right? Then what is there? Am I really perceiving objects through the senses, or is it just the mind functioning through the senses? So let us try to look at anything I hear or anything you see on the screen. You're seeing people, you're seeing me and other things. Now, you may say that I'm seeing this through my eyes, but really, where is this knowing happening? This knowing is not happening at the level of the eyes. The eyes are just a medium for us. So where I exist or I feel I know is actually at this point at the level of mind. So the whole world, my own body, my own thoughts, everything, where is it known? It is known at the level of mind. So this is why one of the schools, and even this is also in one of the Vedantic things, called as Ekadesha Matam, like meaning there is only the sense of, or what is also called in one of the Buddhist schools as Chitta Matra, meaning mind only school. So if you really analyze, they have a good point here, because everything that I'm experiencing, where is it? It is all at the level of mind. If something were to happen to me, if I were to be drugged through some medicine and all that, all my eyes also functioning, everything will kind of go, even the functioning of my eyes, my functioning of my ears, everything also is going to go away. So the mind now becomes the focal point where I feel a sense of I exist. Who I am all boils down to the sensation of mind. The whole world exists for me because of my mind. Right? If my mind is not there, there's no world for me. Even if you say that there is a God out there, there is Bhagwan giving you darshan right now, you'll not be able to see if your mind is not there at this functioning for you at this point. Or mind, or you can also call as the sense of whatever is your sukshma vritti, even that at that point is not functioning. Okay, so now we come down to this point of this mind, the mind being where I am. So now let us explore into this mind. The mind here is broken down into four things, as I mentioned, So what are these four things he's broken it down to? He's broken it down to the thinking, coordinating faculty or the feeling faculty. And he has broken it down to the intellectual faculty, the memory or the chitta faculty, and the ahankara faculty. So this sense, now let us first think about in what is it that giving me the sense of the mind. First is I'm aware of my thoughts. So I feel that I'm the thought. So I have a good thought, I'm a good person. If I have a bad thought, I'm a bad person. So this is a basic level of who I am, my identity. Now he's saying that a level of knowing that mind, the thoughts of the mind, whether it's a good thought or a bad thought, it's possible or it is chosen to you because of the intellect, the buddhi. So now I have a feeling that I am because I have a sense of choice in what I think. So even to be able to label myself as a good person, I have to choose this consciously. I chose to think good, so I'm a good person. I am following certain spiritual paths, so I'm a sadhaka. So all this labeling and decisioning is happening through this intellect, But now let us try to see the sense of choice I have. Is it really true? Do I really choose everything in my life? So if I were to be really choosing, then a lot of things I do by habits. A lot of things is actually kind of based on my already previous understanding of life. So am I really, so this comes down also to a very deeper concept of, do I really have free will? Do I really have this free will to choose? So in some ways, like how Ramakrishna and also and many people say, God is the doer. There's nothing I'm choosing actually. But then, if I don't have a sense of choosing, then how do I do viveka? Huh? Because the whole aspect of viveka is based on choosing, right? So now it comes down to this point: at what level I'm choosing? Am I choosing from the level of the mind, or am I choosing from the level of the higher self, what we talk about, or the purer self here? So this ahankara is where it boils down to. What is this reality of this ahankara? So now the first step here is to reduce everything that I'm perceiving through the world, I'm sensing through my senses, everything. I'm reduced it down to some basic thing called, how Buddha puts it as, in the seeing there is only the seeing, in the hearing there's only the hearing, in the tasting, touching, smelling there's only the tasting, touching, smelling, in the mentally cognizing there's only the mentally cognizing. So now what has happened by doing this process is that the world I have identified as not me. There is a deeper essence of me, which is knowing this world. And this first, I think, is the senses. Next, I reduce it to the mind. And next, I reduce it to the sense of choosing, the intellect. And that also, I say, is chosen for me based on certain patterns, certain processes, which is already in motion, on which I'm choosing. So what am I reduced down to? I've reduced down now to this I factor, ahankara. So now this I factor is the most crucial factor, which is also gone in an elaborate length by this process of who am I in the Ramana Maharshi's thing. Okay, so this I am, which I'm talking about here, right? Vedanta reduces to a very profound level where it says that this I am, you say that the experience I feel, the spiritual experiences I'm having, or even that worldly experiences you're having, even that has to come to an end. So that I am as such, the rishis pointed out, is not just what we sense as, even this sublime consciousness that is here traveling, as I mentioned, through the lifetimes. That also is a limited nature of what. So that sense of I am a spark of the divine, that is also a limited understanding, and it's a good understanding to have at one level, but it's a limited understanding. So Vedanta now takes it to a step further, where it says that sense of I am is the essence of the same I am which is there in all of you. Not just that, this sense of I am that is in all of you, which is in me, is the same I am which is in God as well. Okay, so this part of thing, understanding, is actually where we have to make this jump using the Mahavakyas in Vedanta. So that part of it, we will do it in another session. So for this session, we will leave it at this. So one way that we can, even after this session, you all can contemplate is that to kind of come down and boil everything down to mind, from the world and the senses to the mind, and from the mind to this faculty of choosing in us, the choice in us. So if you really stay in the state of choicelessness, as some teachers put it, the sense of choiceless I am, So even that you'll see that every choice also you're making, but this one who is making the choice always remains the same. So what we are doing is we are moving slowly deeper and deeper to that what stays more permanent at a relative level. What I mean by that is, whatever is changing is not you. Whatever is unchanging is closer to what you are. Slowly, we come to this point, and you will see that daily, in my daily life, all choices are made for me based on my samskaras. Of course, I have a choice in my samskaras. I can choose to do sattvic things, and then I'll have more sattvic options. But what is happening is, I am not even the one who is choosing to be here in the classes and listening. That listening is happening, or the talking is happening in my case. I'm not even actually the one who is talking, So this is where I move more closer and closer to the sense of where I don't even strive to look for my happiness. See, why are we going out all the way to the world, the body, everything is because of this pursuit of happiness. But when you see that everything is happening on its own, it is all on an autopilot, then what happens is the essence of happiness is already here. So I don't even have to strive to become that. So I don't have to strive to become anything. I don't have to strive to gain something. That sadhya sadhana we say, that is also lost at that point. Okay, we will leave it at this. If possible, we will do the other shlokas, and then we will get a deeper. So in 8 shlokas, he has unpacked this in all different ways. So he approaches the same thing when he comes to this point and says, Chidananda Rupa, this nature of consciousness is who I am. Shivoham, Shivoham. So then we understand truly what is he actually meaning. But in order to really understand that I am this pure, universal, divine consciousness, I have to go through this process of really negating everything else. Even if I am stuck at this point, at even this understanding that I am this intellect which is making these choices, or I am this doer, or I am this jiva which goes through life after life, I have this karma and all that, I'm still not yet this pure consciousness. I cannot affirm that I am Shivoham at that point.